Welcome to Scrum Masters Elite_UK. Subscribe to the channel to explore the changes in Super Rugby and the United Rugby Championship.
The departure of South African teams like the Bulls, Lions, Sharks, and Stormers from Super Rugby to join the United Rugby Championship was not just an administrative decision. It marked a shift in both geographical and philosophical terms. And from that moment, Super Rugby, once the symbol of club rugby in the Southern Hemisphere, entered an entirely different phase. I've noticed that many fans believe the absence of South African teams has weakened Super Rugby. However, CEO Jack Mesley argues that the matches involving these teams didn't draw as many spectators as people assumed. And that there is a romantic element tied to older memories rather than current reality. I think this is an argument worth considering. In sports, emotions often outweigh data. But data doesn't always reflect the full value of spirit and expertise. When John Kirwan directly responded that these comments were nonsense, I could sense the frustration of someone who had lived through Super Rugby's golden era. He posed a very thought-provoking question: what is Super Rugby? Is it an entertainment competition or a high-level environment to prepare for international matches? To me, this question isn't just about rugby, it applies to every professional sport.
Victor Matfield, a former Bulls player, spoke of Super Rugby with deep pride. He recalled how, as a young man, he would wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning to watch teams like the Blues or Crusaders play. Those memories aren't about statistics. They are about inspiration, dreams, and the shaping of a generation of players. I was particularly struck by Matfield's view that winning the Super Rugby Championship could be harder than winning the World Cup, because it requires maintaining high form consistently over several weeks and winning away games in harsh environments like New Zealand. This made me reflect. Sometimes, long-term success is harder to achieve than victory in a short-term competition. In my own life, it's also true. Achieving a major accomplishment is difficult, but maintaining excellence over time is much harder. When the South African teams left, many assumed it would affect national teams like the All Blacks and Wallabies. Kirwan pointed out that the absence of South Africa's physical style and strength had diminished the quality of preparation for test matches.
I find this point very thought-provoking. South Africa has long been known for its physical style of play, strong contests, and high tactical discipline. When these distinctive styles no longer appear regularly in Super Rugby, the gap between club rugby and international rugby may widen. This raises a larger question: can a regional competition maintain international competitiveness without diverse playing styles? I don't think the issue lies solely in audience numbers or television revenue. I believe top-tier sports need the clash of different schools of thought. When teams like the Bulls or Stormers face the Crusaders or Blues, it's not just a game between two clubs. It's a battle of two rugby philosophies: power structure, discipline versus speed, creativity, high tempo. If we only look at audience numbers, Mesley may be right to some extent. But if we consider long-term development value, I wonder whether we are undervaluing the role of tactical and cultural diversity in sports. I also try to approach this issue objectively.
The year 2020 was one of global change due to the pandemic. The restructuring of the competition wasn't just about skill but also about finances, geography, schedules, and long-term sustainability. South African teams joining the United Rugby Championship brought them closer in terms of time zones, television markets, and commercial partners in Europe. From a governance perspective, this may have been a reasonable decision. I understand why many fans still talk about the Super 10 and Super 12 as a golden era. As the competition expanded, the more complicated conference structure diluted its original identity. This is a big lesson for any organization. Expansion doesn't necessarily mean increasing core value. I've learned an important lesson for myself: don't let romance cloud reality, but also don't let cold statistics strip away the soul of what you've built. In my personal life, when I assess a decision, I need both data and emotion. Pure reason without heart will lead to cold decisions.
But pure emotion without analysis can lead to mistakes. I believe the key is to maintain a spirit of positive support rather than negative nostalgia. Nostalgia helps us appreciate the past, but if we hold onto it too tightly, it may prevent us from seizing new opportunities for growth. This story reminds me that transparency and dialogue are essential. When fans feel their voices are heard, change becomes easier to accept. When organizations restructure, when countries change alliances, when systems are redesigned. There will always be people who long for the past and others who support the future. What matters is that we maintain a spirit of mutual respect, debate based on data, and not lose our core values. I believe that rugby, whether in Super Rugby or the United Rugby Championship, will continue to develop as long as it preserves a spirit of honest competition, respect for opponents, and a desire for improvement. What makes a competition great isn't just the audience numbers or revenue, it's the ability to inspire the next generation, just like Matfield was inspired when he watched the Blues and Crusaders play. I wonder, what in my life am I viewing through romance without verifying it with reality? And what am I assessing too coldly with numbers, forgetting the spiritual value? Personally, instead of picking sides, I choose to learn.
Goodbye to the old Super Rugby, and welcome the new development. Sports are not just numbers, but emotions and spiritual values.